with Dirt Rally being out for a while now, I thought it'd be interesting to jump into the previous Codemasters Rally game, Colin McRae Dirt Rally 3, and have a little bit of a comparison and see what it's like going back to the older game after playing the newer game. Now this is a fresh install of Colin McRae Dirt Rally 3, and that's why I'm driving a Fiat Abarth, which is a car, not a bath, and I've had to set the steering rotation at 350 in the Logitech Profiler because unfortunately, and already a negative for Dirt Rally 3, it doesn't have a proper wheel calibration. But having said that, out of the box the force feedback seems to work reasonably well. I can feel what the car's doing, and it's not, in terms of the basic handling with this Abarth at least, it's not that dissimilar from Dirt Rally, the newer game. Now you do notice in the newer Dirt Rally the handling's a little bit more subtle. There's certainly a little bit more depth, and the force feedback's definitely a lot better in the new Dirt Rally. So it is a progression, but you can still, there's still an aspect of a similar character going between the two games. Having just installed this, one thing that does really become apparent in terms of the differences between the two titles is just the menu system in Dirt Rally 3 is so irritating. I mean, and that's even with Dirt Rally 3, the menu system is a massive improvement over the previous Dirt Rally games where you had to go around your little caravan and all that business. And in Dirt Rally 3, at least it's more of a classic menu with little bits you click on, but it's still the annoying radio voice. So it's nice that in Dirt Rally, the newer rally game, they got rid of it even more, made it even more minimal. But it's so, just installing this now and just getting on it is so irritating to play, go through the menus rather than just being able to jump into the cars. Another thing I notice, or you will notice straight away with this, is the tracks and just the width of the tracks and how much space there is. We get back in the car again, our little Fiat Abarth. Jump into the race. I do like the Abarth, but I'll probably get one eventually in real life. A really nice car. Probably not this one though, it would cost an absolute fortune. The tracks are really wide in this, so even though the handling isn't miles apart from Dirt Rally, the new Dirt Rally, I mean, just look at the track. It's like a bloody motorway. There's not really that much opportunity to accidentally nip a bit of a corner and have it throw you into a tree, which is half the excitement. There's someone's bodywork there, which is half the excitement of rally driving, really. That sort of sweaty bottom as you try and thread the car through objects that would want to pierce through your windscreen and smash your face in. And I think in this, actually, just noticing a bit more of the handling, the cars really do seem to have a tendency to self-correct themselves a lot more than in Dirt Rally. And braking grip, well, I think the brakes are a little bit more effective in this, even in this shanty vehicle. But the cars, when you step them out, they're far more glued to the track in this than in Dirt Rally. Far more planted, and when the back comes out, the car's far faster in sort of auto-correcting. I'll try and throw the car out on the brake, but it's not having any of it. I do think in the new Dirt Rally, oh, we go on the tarmac in this, the force feedback's calmed down. That's nice. Felt like an earthquake, and now it's gone all smooth. There's the finish. Also, the track length is absurdly short. I mean, how long was that? That was just like, for a millionaire, that racetrack was the length of your average millionaire's driveway. So there's another difference in that Dirt Rally has really nice, not full length rally tracks. I think if you can do, there's sort of 3 or 4. Well, the way they've done it in Dirt Rally is they've divided the tracks up into multiple stages within a singular track. If you were to do the full one of those, which you can pick from the menu, then you do end up with something that's reasonably representative of a real world rally track. Probably still a little bit too short, but compared to this, you know, the tracks in this are basically nothing. Although, and we were slow there, so that was useless. Let's go to Smelter, Rallycross, Safari Historic. Let's check this out. Now, one thing I think that Dirt Rally 3 does arguably do better than Dirt Rally, the new Dirt Rally. Okay, I'll just call it the new Dirt Rally. One thing that this version does better than the new one is, I think if you were approaching it more as a gamer and you wanted to just go through objectives, unlock content, and that sort of thing, then I think this packages it up in that way. Now, I can see the enjoyment in that, and especially if you were playing on console and you just wanted a game, you like that unlocking process. But once you've got old and decrepit and you need a Zimmer frame to move around, you kind of get bored of doing that, because you do it in every game and it's just the same thing over and over again. It's like the first time I played Call of Duty. I played Call of Duty 2 on the Xbox 360 and I really enjoyed unlocking all the stuff because I hadn't really done it before. But by the time you've done it that one time, it just becomes a chore and you just want to get to the gameplay. And I think that's why the Call of Duty games got down. I also think that's why a lot of driving games where you unlock content, this sort of applies to games like Forza and Gran Turismo. To me, that's just a choice. It seems that those menus and unlocking content is getting in the way of the actual core gameplay, which is the actual playing with the physics and moving the cars around and trying to improve your lap times and all that business. So you can see how different audiences would like the games differently, and how where Dirt Rally might not appeal to your more console players or younger players that haven't had a chance to go through and unlock stuff in games before, so that's still enjoyable. But for me, the ability to jump in a car in Dirt Rally, pick a track, not have to worry about it, is just so much better than what you have in this. It's weird actually how you have to approach the handling in Colin McRae Dirt Rally 3, because the cars are really pokey now. I'd say the cars are a little bit pokey in Dirt Rally as well, but nowhere near as pokey as this, where you sort of need to nudge the cars in to the corners while still keeping them straight in this to go fast. You don't really want to be throwing the car in sideways because you just lose too much time. So it's just, I think Dirt Rally 3 is a lot more, far more counterintuitive than the newer Dirt Rally. Graphically though, I think it looks really nice. The apart from the track being really wide, the actual track details and the object, I mean, it's so short. We're finishing already. As I say, these aren't rally tracks; these are millionaire driveways. The actual, the assets, the people at the side of the screen, the animated characters, the cockpit details and everything are all pretty nicely done and do sort of draw you in the game. But again, Dirt Rally, I think the new Dirt Rally has the details outside of the track. The trees look nice, the scenery looks nice. There's the occasional rabbit that runs across the track in Dirt Rally, and there's still animated people at the side as well. So graphically, I think the lighting and the shading is better in the new Dirt Rally, but there's more objects in the previous one. But the tracks are so short. No wonder they could put more details at the side of the track in the old one, because the tracks are only 10 metres long. What we're doing now, okay, we've got indie rock to listen to as well, which we don't want to listen to. So I'll keep talking. Hopefully YouTube won't pick it up as a piracy copyright claim. Probably will do. Good. Next stage. Here we go. Turn the sound up a little bit so I can hear the engine. Missing all my shifts because I like to listen to when to shift rather than doing it through the gauges on the screen. But all in all, I think it's it goes to show how they've really sort of just focused things more on the actual core aspect of the rally driving in the new Dirt Rally, which is what they really should have done since Dirt Rally 2, really. This game sort of focuses on the gymkhana stuff and gimmicky things and dude bro announcers. Whoa. At least this car's a little bit faster. And you see, compared to Dirt Rally again with the handling there, when you start getting into a bit of a slide, in this, the car, whoops, that's me driving terribly, the car feels as if it's more in a defined path than in Dirt Rally. But saying that, it's not massively different, the handling. I mean, you can still feel aspects of either game. I mean, I don't know how much Codemasters reworked the physics engine for the new rally game, or how much of the previous physics code they're using. What's funny though, actually, is that even with this Dirt 3, it's so much better than the Formula 1 games in terms of just driving experience. The force feedback's communicating what's going on. It's working with my Club Sport V2 pedals, and the car's actually pretty responsive to what I'm doing. Like, I don't feel out of control of the vehicle. In the F1 games, I just feel out of control. We were so slow. But let's go now from this to the new Dirt Rally. We've done enough driving in this. We've driven 2 or 3 cars. Track's very short.
It's a long season, and this was just one race.
Dude bro announcers, not good. Now let's load up Dirt Rally. Okay, so into Dirt Rally, the newer Dirt Rally. Why do all the games have got the same name? As you see, the menu, still no mouse, and a lot more minimal. And they've got the nice Dirt Rally techno to let you know that you're in it. Let's do a custom event then, and just compare the car. We'll just pick a general car. We'll do Wales, and that'll do. And let's go for a fairly modern car. We'll just go for the 2010 rally car. That'll do. So a lot quicker in the new Dirt Rally to get onto the track. Just pick a car and get on the track. Now they do have a credit system, so you do sort of have to unlock content to buy cars in the game, but they've done a good sort of compromise where you can still enjoy unlocking things, progressing your team, and they'll do in between stages they'll fix a vehicle, and there's a sort of little bit of management in there, which does put that gamey element into it. So that probably make people happy that are looking for that. But for people like me that just want to jump in and drive, you can kind of ignore it and still have a good time. Whereas I say that wasn't really an option in the older Dirt games, where you had to go through the sort of regimented system that they'd set up. So let's start the stage. Actually, that's one thing. The default camera view is better in the previous game than the new one. I've ended up just playing on the dashboard in this a lot of the time. Yeah, so straight away, okay, there's a lot less grip, far less grip. The car is way more nimble. Whoa, we've killed someone. The car's way more nimble, and you do have to be a lot more precise on your throttle and accelerator. In the old Dirt Rally, you can literally just slam your foot on the accelerator and brake it. In fact, it plays a lot more like, say, something like Sega Rally, whereas this plays a lot closer to something like RBR. Also, the engine sounds in Dirt Rally far better. Having the co-driver reading everything out proper immerses you in the game. And then the track, of course, which you can see. Whoa, we've just killed ourselves. I can't drive. Don't go from Dirt Rally. Don't go from Dirt Rally 3 to Dirt Rally, because you'll just end up killing people and driving off the road. But the track, you'll see, is a lot more narrow and a lot more buttock clenching, which is the point of games really like this. You know, you want the excitement, you want to get a bit of adrenaline rush. And grass at the side of the tracks looks really nice there. Probably couldn't do that in the previous Dirt because it'd melt your computer. I think maybe it's a DirectX 10 feature or 11 feature, I don't know. Or maybe it's just them putting more detailed grass in, who knows, but it looks nice. I love virtual grass. strange person that I am.
Into left 5
See
long.
that, just doing the handbrake, short handbrake turn there, you wouldn't get that in Dirt 3 because there wouldn't be a corner that thin and that tight, and also the car just wouldn't be able to be navigated in that way of
Tight, keep in.
putting the handbrake on and twiddling the car around the corner in a sort of subtle way.
And right 6 into left 6.
Now I do think compared to RBR,
3 half long crest, jump maybe.
you get a little bit less, the cars are a little bit less nimble in terms of how the back end pops out on the accelerator. Obviously it depends which car you happen to be driving, but I definitely think RBR has more control from the throttle and brake, whereas this sort of encourages you to
Right 6.
drive,
Into left
whoop,
4
drive off the
half long,
cliff.
keep in.
This encourages you to drive more from the steering. You can position the car with the throttle and brake. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but I just think in RBR it's sort of RBR forces you to dance on the throttle and brake a little bit more
Into
than this.
left 2, keep in.
But as I say, it depends on which vehicle you happen to be
Right
driving.
5 long 100.
And that's a good point actually. From what I remember with Dirt Rally 3, the content is very consistent. Now it might not be particularly deep from car to car, and they've all got a ridiculous amount of grip, but all the cars don't feel. There's no car in Dirt Rally 3 that feels fundamentally broken or feels completely dislocated from the driver input. In the new Dirt Rally, I think there's some of the older vehicles, although they've improved over more recent patches, but some of the older vehicles, in my opinion, they just feel a bit dampened and sort of dislocated from the driver input. Outside of them being older vehicles and of course being a little bit more sluggish than what you'd expect from new vehicles. So I think that's probably just more a symptom of Dirt Rally still being in development, so they're polishing all the cars. But at this point in time,
Right 6.
and that's a bit the case like with RBR as well, all the vehicles in that are fairly consistent. I mean, there's some vehicles that you like more than others, but they're consistent through the board. I'm driving awful. I should have put the I don't know if you can do it in the menu, put the graphics on so I can see what's coming up without. No. You can put the graphics on the screen so it shows what corner is coming up with the visually, so I don't have to listen to what the co-driver's saying.
Turn left 1, 40.
So you can also see that in Dirt Rally 3 with the graphics, the sort of graphical finish they went for in Dirt Rally 3 is more of a cinematic thing with sort of vignetting around the edge of the screen, and they've gone for far more contrasting colours, whereas in the new Dirt Rally everything's a lot more muted and just natural looking in tone.
Right 6, don't cut.
So again,
Into left 660. Left 3 long, don't cut.
for me, you just get a far more immersive experience with the newer game.
Caution right.
But maybe people want maybe more people prefer the sort of dude bro commentator and the iridescent colours and the annoying menu system. Maybe that's what most gamers want.
Caution left 6 long. Over crest jump.
I've also noticed that Dirt Rally, this one, is, oh, we're going to go off the track. This one gives you a rumble through your Fanatec pedals, straight out of the box, no fiddling. So that's fantastic. The previous one doesn't do that, and RBR doesn't do that. And nothing's quite like a little bit of a foot massage on your brake pedal whilst you drive. But it's good for letting you know if you're going over the braking threshold, so you know when it starts shaking, you know that you're pushing the brake too hard and that you need to ease off it a little bit. It's just a little hint. Doesn't drastically change the game, but it just adds to things a little bit. There we go. And actually, well, one thing you notice with RBR and Dirt Rally, the new one, whoa, I've just killed myself again. One thing you notice is that you get into a sort of flow, and I've never noticed that. That's never happened to me on. I've just restarted the track like an idiot. That's never happened to me in the older Dirt Rally games because the tracks are so short. Sometimes in the multiplayer races you get it because you're doing laps around set tracks, but they're so short you can't get into like a flow and sort of just zone out.
Go.
and get sort of sucked into the driving. But in RBI and Dirt and the new Dirt Rally, you can just get sucked into it. I'm just going to do the start of this track again because why not? But all in all, I have to say, I think comparing the older Dirt Rally to the new one, the only people I think that would be disappointed with this, oh, I don't know what happened there. The only people I think would be disappointed with the new one are those looking for a generic console experience of unlocking content. But then I think that other games do that generic unlocking content better than the Colin McRae Rally games ever did. So it's nice, I think, that Codemasters went back to doing, strangely, doing what they do best, which is more either hyper arcade games like their Toy Box Turbo game, which is pretty good if you were looking for a Micro Machines game, or doing something slightly more realistic. I don't know why Codemasters got stuck in this weird middle ground with games like the Formula 1 games that, in my opinion, is just a bit garbage, and their previous Dirt Rally games, which in my opinion are a little bit... Oh, I've lost the back end there. In my opinion, the older Dirt Rally games, again, they just don't do much for me. Driving like a buffoon. I think we've punctured the rear tyre. That's why that's happening. And again, I've never noticed the damage in the previous Dirt Rally games, whereas in this, if you damage a wheel, you're going to be noticing it for the rest of the stage, and then it carries on, and how you decide to set up your team, and how you decide to use time in between the stages, just gives it a nice extra layer of depth to the mechanics and to your decisions, because you could go from one stage to another with a bit of damage or decide to fix it at the detriment to your overall time. This is so hard to drive with a broken wheel. Whoa! No, we're done. Thanks for watching this video. We're going to end this now. We're going to end this now before the internet stops working from Drivel. But they're clapping in the corner, so they're happy. But thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I thought it was interesting to compare the two games. I definitely prefer the new Dirt Rally, but each to his own. And I'll see you in my next video. Don't forget to subscribe by clicking the subscribe button, liking the video, and goodbye.